Men of Reddit, what myth about men is 100% untrue and infuriates you when you hear it? That we can never not be in the mood, and if we are we must be sick or cheating. Men can't multitask. Every time I hear that I have to stop what I'm doing so I can get angry. That we miss signs that women give them because they are stupid. We see them, but we don't want to be creepy / jump to conclusions. Edit, or we are not interested. This 1000x over. I used to pick up on signals and not act on them for two reasons. 1. Low self-esteem. 2. I was terrified of taking something the wrong way and getting trapped in a situation where the girl would actually not have been flirting. There's any number of bad outcomes if a girl does something you think is flirting. For one, obviously, she could call you a creep for coming on too strong, since you already thought she liked you. For another, maybe you just don't want that one last blow dealt to your self-confidence. It's a tricky situation. I was terrified of taking something the wrong way and getting trapped in a situation where the girl would actually not have been flirting. The core tenet of my life, it's not the rejection, it's being labeled that guy. That we cannot parent as well as a woman. That we need a random woman to come hold a man's child because they're crying. That we are babysitting when our spouse isn't with our babies. Yeah, that stereotype is so damn dumb. I mean, I changed thousands of diapers and it never bothered me once. I was perfectly capable of dressing my kids. I know how to open a jar of baby food. I wash and hang my kids' school uniforms. I'm not looking for a prize, but I'm also not looking to be treated like I'm an idiot. I'm a nurse, and before that I was a nurse's aide working in a nursing home changing adult diapers every day. One day I was at a restaurant holding my daughter when I realized that she had a dirty diaper. I handed her to my wife so I could extricate myself from the booth when a woman at the next table made that disapproving CCH noise and said, "Typical." I stood up, took my daughter back along with the diaper bag, turned to this woman and said, "Please, lady, I'm a nurse. I've changed the diapers of people bigger than you." And I went off to the bathroom. Even so many men's restrooms don't even have baby changing tables. It's getting better now, but back in the day basically every guy on TV was a sports obsessed, car / motorcycle loving, beer swilling moron who couldn't function without his wife to look after him and the kids. My wife went away last week for work and I'll have you know that only half my kids got eaten by wolves. You did your best, man. Wolves always hunt in packs, so you were probably outnumbered. Plot twist, he only has one kid. Well, half of one now. That dads are dopey morons barely capable of caring for themselves, let alone their kids. My GF of almost 9 years made a joke like this in front of her friends after we started living together. The first time I let it slide because I wasn't sure what she meant. I asked in private and she didn't know. She just said it. The second time I stopped and said, "Who's the one that goes grocery shopping for healthy meal preps that you end up wasting? Who does 90% of the cooking? When was the last time you cleaned the counter, let alone the toilet?" She's never brought it up since. I've met dudes that complain about this, but then use it as an excuse to be lazy. If I did that, we'd be living in filth. And I just don't have that in me. Been married 4 years. My wife complained I didn't do enough. I told her I did plenty. She insisted. A parley was struck. For 2 weeks I did nothing. This was easy since I'm home and awake, maybe 4 hours a day. By the end of it, the sink was overflowing, the trash was piled high, the floors were disgusting, the laundry was backed up, and all the other fix-it tasks were completely ducked. She hasn't said a word since. My trick: clean up as you go. If you're the last to use it up or fill it up, then take care of it. Years of taking care of a woodshop translates well to housekeeping. Daughter to a single dad here. There was this myth I discovered when I was young. It's something almost all my female friends were told, but thankfully not me. The myth is a belief that there are such things as girl business where only your mom or other older females in the family should help you with. As the only girl in the house growing up, my dad helped me understand and deal with a great many girl business problems. Meanwhile, all my friends had their moms to handle it for them. When my friends found out my dad was sort of in charge of handling those with me, they were shocked. They asked me why I didn't have an aunt or grandma to help instead. Well, My aunts all live at least 10 hours away, and grandma is even further. I began to realize over the years that there might actually be negative side effects to this girl's only way of thinking. Sure, having another female assist you with those issues might be less awkward and embarrassing, but there's already an inherent awkwardness and embarrassment associated with it. Learning to overcome the embarrassment is part of growing up and accepting your body. Furthermore, I have since grown up and began studying psychology and done some research into this further for my studies. I'd have to do a more in-depth and wide-reaching survey and analysis to come to findings I'd be comfortable with being peer-reviewed, but I have a theory that the girl's only mentality causes relationship issues later in life. Young girls grow up thinking that there are some aspects of womanhood men not only don't understand but can't understand. It makes them not only less trusting of male partners, but also keeps them from seeing men as equals when it comes to parenting. Sure, if you're a mom of a young girl, there's no reason for you to not continue helping her with all the complex feminine issues she's going through. Just be careful not to make her think her dad doesn't empathize or understand too. Don't make him this distant third party who will never get it, or someone who should not be involved because he has a... That's the same toxic female attitude that causes soccer moms to call the cops on a dad when he takes his daughter to the park to play. Men can parent too, and they are surprisingly good at raising young girls on their own. That we are all not interested in or incapable of being involved in the planning of our weddings. I cannot tell you how many comments like "Remember, it's her day, not yours" I received during the 2-year lead up to our wedding. I'm not going to lie to you and say I'd been looking forward to getting married since I was 12 or something, but I took an active interest together with my wife in the planning of our wedding. It's not my day, it's hers. Duck that. It was our day. We planned it together. Her vision definitely brought it all together, and she did a ducking astounding job, but she didn't just make decisions on her own. We talked together about and worked together on every single thing involved in the event, and we were both ecstatic with how it turned out. It turned out beautifully. I try not to toot my own horn very often, but I never thought the best party I'd ever go to would end up being my own. My own parents, who are in an incredible, cooperative, supportive, happy married relationship, and are the best parents I could have possibly asked for the record, gave me grief about this sort of thing when I was telling them that when I get married, I want a smaller, not exorbitantly expensive wedding. They both, especially my dad, insisted that my hypothetical fiance would be the one calling all the shots. Now that I type it out, I have to wonder if that's them perpetuating the stereotype or calling me spineless. Smaller is the way to go. The current wedding industry is ducking predatory with the amount of money they expect a relatively new couple to spend on what is ultimately a glorified party. Financial issues are a prime reason why people get divorced, and what does our society do? Immediately saddle the new couple with a huge financial burden because it's expected. Duck that shit. That men find it normal to cheat and brag about it. Any man who cheats on someone loses my respect instantly. Same goes for women. And I'm sure my feelings are shared by most guys. I don't understand why people assume that men are worse communicators than women. Really depends on the man and the woman. I really hate how fruity drinks are associated with women. Like, damn, can I just enjoy my strawberry daiquiri? Edit. Whoa. Men can't show emotion in public unless it's anger or greed. Not sure if it counts as a myth, but most TV portrayals, the guy's a dumbass and depends on his wife for literally everything. It's annoying and played out. I don't know anyone close to my age that lives like that. Homer Simpson was always a bit of an idiot, but he also sacrificed everything for his family and worked hard to provide for them. But now they just write him like he's some worthless bum who does nothing and is a burden to everyone around him. If any of the newer Simpsons writers are reading this, duck you. You suck. That we are not afraid of walking alone through a dark car park at night. After a great deal of asking everyone from police to self-defense instructors to a green beret and a bunch of combat vets to the most cracked out gun nuts, not met a single person who had no fear